Lesson 4 in A Course in Miracles. These thoughts do not mean anything, and we were just talking about thoughts in the last one a little bit. But these thoughts do not mean anything. They're like the things I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place. Unlike the preceding ones, these exercises do not begin with the idea for the day. In these practice periods, begin with noting the thoughts that are crossing your mind for about a minute. Then apply the idea to them. If you are already aware of unhappy thoughts, use them as subjects for the idea. Do not, however, select only the thoughts you think are bad. You will find if you train yourself to look at your thoughts that they represent such a mixture that, in a sense, none of them can be called good or bad. This is why they do not mean anything.
In selecting the subjects for the application of today's idea, the the usual specificity is required. Do not be afraid to use good thoughts as well as bad. None of them represents your real thoughts, which are being covered up by them. The good ones are but shadows of what lies beyond, and shadows make sight difficult. The bad ones are blocks to sight and make seeing impossible. You do not want either.
This is a major exercise and will be repeated from time to time in somewhat different form. The aim here is to train you in the first steps toward the goal of separating the meaningless from the meaningful. It is a first attempt in the long range purpose of learning to see the meaningless as outside you and the meaningful within. It is also the beginning of training your mind to recognize what is the same and what is different.
In using your thoughts for application of the idea for today, identify each thought by the central figure or event it contains. For example, this thought about blank does not mean anything. It is like the things I see in this room, on this street, and so on.
You can also use the idea for a particular thought that you recognize as harmful. This practice is useful, but is not a substitute for the more random procedures to be followed for the exercises. Do not, however, examine your mind for more than a minute or so. You are too experienced as yet to avoid a tendency to become pointlessly preoccupied.
And just for clarification, you are too inexperienced. Number 6. Further, since these exercises are for the first of their kind, you may find the suspension of judgment in connection with thoughts particularly difficult. Do not repeat these exercises more than 3 or 4 times during the day. We will return to them later.
The lesson is these thoughts do not mean anything. That's the lesson. They're like the things I see in the room, on the street, from the window in this place. As a coach, as a possibilities coach, as a whatever, I used to say awareness. Awareness is the big thing. Be aware of every thought that comes. If you have something that makes you unhappy, you want to change that. You want to change it to a vibration that makes you feel better. So be aware of every thought. And this is talking about that. But what I like about this part of it right now is don't don't classify them. Don't give them a good or don't give them a bad, because in the place that we're at right this particular moment, we're classifying we're classifying them inaccurately. So that's the part that we leave out a lot when we're talking about being aware of your thoughts and trying to change into that good vibration, is that there is no good thought, there is no bad thought. It's the meaning you give to the thought.
Absolutely. And with number 4, where there was a blank, I just thought, I don't know why rain came, but this thought about rain does not mean anything. It is like the things I see in this room, on the street, and so on. I thought about rain, and sometimes, when we are thinking about things, when we see them, we start asking a whole bunch of questions. And sometimes because we're in just deep reflection and we're trying to ask those questions of our own curiosity. But these exercises are truly just about not placing any judgment or anything on anything that you see or think about. It's just to observe them essentially is my understanding, to observe things just as they are without trying to apply a reason or a meaning to them.
It's funny, and I may be misinterpreting this, but that's what we're here for. This thought about rain does not mean anything. And I thought about the first thing that went through my mind is maybe I'm some young hotshot going out on a date and I've got my nice cleaned up car. It's all waxed up and I'm driving down the street and all of a sudden it starts raining and I'm saying, oh, what? I just cleaned all this car, want to impress this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm giving the rain this negative meaning. And I'm
Exactly.
driving by the farmer whose field needed water. And the farmer is saying, thank you. Thank you for this blessed rain. And yet here we are
Absolutely.
in the same geographical area and we have a different meaning to the word rain.
Absolutely. And so that right there was a beautiful example. And we can throw many examples, like I do my hair and I step out and the rain just messes things up, where somebody somewhere in some place really hot just got poured down and they are just enjoying and loving the fact that this warm rain that hasn't fell in ages is here, and they're enjoying and dancing. And I've done that too. I've danced in the rain.
Or there's somebody right across the street that says, wow, she's got beautiful hair. I wish I had hair. So that is lesson 4.
Lesson 4, and we'll be
Tell us,
back for
tell us what you
lesson.
think about it, guys.
Yes, absolutely. Share your thoughts, share your insights, and how you think that this is going to help you begin to reframe your own perceptions and judgments about the things that you place, the meaning that you place on things and stuff and people.
And remember, we learn as much from you as you learn from us. This
Absolutely.
this is all a learning and growing experience. So
Absolutely. We will see you next time for lesson 5.